Okay, we are at the infamous Pittsburgh Mills. It's a big mall complex north of Pittsburgh, sort of in the middle of nowhere. Look, so that's Route 28, and that comes out of Pittsburgh, goes up along the Allegheny River, and then goes up into Armstrong County. And there's like nothing really up here. But this was built, opened in 2005. It was built for $212 million and sold out of bankruptcy around 2013 for $7 million. So a 90% loss would have taken it to 20 million. It was less than half. So we're talking like a 96% loss. So let's take a little tour. So it's not all doom and gloom. Like there's every Olive Garden. I just had lunch at the Longhorn. Now, TikTok wouldn't let me do lives while I was driving. That was my sister telling me something about cheesecake. So we're going to drive around a little bit. I'll give you like a tour. We're going to look at the main mall thing, like the 80s malls we all know and love that nobody really goes to anymore. All the outcropping things are doing pretty well. It's probably 30 people in the Longhorn. There's 35 cars. But anyways, the basic math is 212 to 7 million. There's some famous investor from the 70s. They had this thing called the Nifty 50. You know how we talk about the Mag 7? So in the 70s, we had the Nifty 50. And it was sort of like the early 70s was sort of like now, like we came out of the Vietnam War. We had a president that was sort of impeachable. He got on the helicopter and gave the 2-finger salute and flew away. Trump is clearly not going to do that. I think I did a piece on Substack. I think the stock market bottomed like in the early 1970s, like the week before Nixon left. It's either the week before or the week after. My deep, weird analysis of the stock market is that it doesn't have anything to do with economic financial principles. It has to do with psychology. And this is harsh. Just hear me out for a couple minutes. We don't have anything. Humans don't have anything in relationship to monkeys. We don't like monkeys. Monkeys are sort of weird and gross and scary, and people have pet chimpanzees and they chew their face off and shit. Who are our best friends? Wolves, dogs. Like, that's who we are. And if we don't have like a head dog, like we don't know what's going on. And right now the head dog is Trump, and he, love him or hate him. So the other thing that's going on today is we have a new Federal Reserve chairman. So we're going to drive around. I think it's 250 acres. If I haven't said this yet, I knew the family that built this. I did some business with them. This isn't like a pile on, make fun of them. They built this over $200 million thing. Pittsburgh's not a very big market. I mean, it's not like Buffalo. It's a little bit bigger, but this isn't Dallas, if you know what I mean. They got about half their equity from Germany, from a German pension. To their own admission, they massively overbuilt. But as you'll see as we drive around, the only thing that's failed here is the mall. The old-fashioned 80s indoor mall is like completely done. I was going to go in there and walk around. I guess I could. I've been to some of these like dead malls, and every time I walk into them, I'm like, well, this is a barn. Like, we should raise sheep here. The bottom floors will raise sheep, and the top floors will have like solar installations to grow vegetables and stuff. So I know I'm all over the place because that's what makes this fun. That's why Substack is fun, and that's why, you know, people are on here listening to, like, you have to go see this guy, the Black Swan Files. He's a tech guy. He's funny. He's edgy. He doesn't do the Linda finger, but he has his own Linda finger kind of a thing. And so as we drive around here, I want you to think of a couple of things. You can think of money, $212 million to $7 million, and somebody lost over $200 million there. Some of the out parcels were sold. I don't know the details, forgive me. But as we drive around and you see them, like there's an Aldi up here and there's lots of people in front of it. There's a Walmart and a Sam's Club right beside each other, which I don't understand that, but it's a lot of things that I don't understand. So this was like a mega project that didn't work out. And as we drive around here, I want you to think about this. These fucking data centers they're building out are like 50 times bigger than this. And as we drive around, think about the energy. I'm a big energy guy. I was going to do this as we were driving, and I'll do it now. So I have a friend who's a combustion expert. He's an engineer. He worked for GE, blah, blah, blah. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but we're very, very good friends. And we drove to New York one time to see an attorney because he and his brother were in a horrible lawsuit about a remarkable technology. But anyways, on the way home for like 2 hours, he gave me a speech about engines and diesel engines and energy and combustion and everything. When you think about AI, and I just put something up this morning about Apple versus NVIDIA-based Dell product. And the limiting factor is heat. The limiting factor isn't even energy, because we have lots of energy in the United States. We have coal, we have gas, we have oil, we have solar, we have energy. We truly have an energy surplus, right? Trump says it all the time. And even I know I'm all over the place, but just, and I have a glass of Cabernet in me, but even when you look at that Longhorn Steakhouse. So I had the 6-ounce sirloin, which has no fat in it. And it was tender. And the reason I know enough about this, the reason it's tender is because that steer was growing at over 3 pounds a day. Okay. And the way you get things to grow that fast is energy. And a glass of Cabernet. Why are California Cabernets so rich? Because of the sun, the energy. So we're having an energy thing today. And then I'm going to drive to the Apple store. And if I'm lucky, I'm going to find somebody who will do a demo on one of these M5 laptop things, which is just amazing. So I think I gave it only to the paid people. Dell and NVIDIA have this corporate system that is super fast, and you can run AI and blah, blah, blah into your corporation. And it literally requires the kind of coolant system of this Subaru. When automobiles first came out, the limiting factor was the heat. They didn't know how to get the heat out of the cars. So they would literally put 100 gallons of water in the car and just blast it onto the thing and evaporate it off, because otherwise the pistons would seize up. So today's lesson in energy, money, AI, technology, everything all at the same time, because that's how we roll. But really, the Longhorn thing, because I'm a farm kid, those steaks are coming from probably Western Kansas or Amarillo, Texas, or something like that, because I think Longhorn's part of some big restaurant syndicate. So they have massive buying power, like Walmart does, like Costco does. So they can deliver that fucking steak there. Like I had a glass of wine, a salad, a sweet potato, and a 6-ounce sirloin for $40. Uh, I couldn't replicate that on our farm. I mean, we could grow a steer out in our pastures, and I could slaughter it myself and put it in the freezer. You know what I mean? But like to deliver that and have somebody else cook it and everything, like it's incredibly optimized. So go back to that Black Swan article and read it. And even if you get a little bit lost in the tech, it's okay. What's going on in America is we're having this kind of, like we're Wile E. Coyote, don't look down. We got a new Fed guy. He's like, yeah, there's 3.8 percent inflation. Go fuck yourself. We're going to run the interest rates down to 1%. This place was built in 2005. It's not really part of the housing mortgage crisis, but credit was relatively loose leading up to that. And that's what created the housing thing. So we're going to drive around here. And as I do it, it's just enormous. Like even the blacktop, like think of the energy to make all this blacktop. So we'll see what happens here if the gods of Substack don't turn me off. And then I'm going to try to go to the Apple store, and then I'm going to go to Whole Foods. We'll see if we can put this all together and have a little bit of fun on a Friday. So there's a new Fed governor, just to, bring it down a little bit. The Federal Reserve grew out of the crisis of 1907. And I have fun making content like this. If you ever go to New York City, there's museums, there's this, there's that, there's Broadway, and there's a little library, the Morgan Library, and it's real small, and you can go to it. You can go in and out of it in an hour. And in the 1907 crisis, it was very much like 2008. JP Morgan invited all the worthies, the who's who of New York City to his library. Gorgeous art, like an amazing art. And locked the door and said, we're not leaving here until we figure this out. And all of the money, they called it what did they call it? The organized support. And there was a little bit of organized support from the Rockefellers. It wasn't huge. They didn't run the whole thing. And there was a little bit from the US Treasury. But it was mainly like 8 or 12 guys, bankers, industrialists, whatever, who put the whole thing back together and said, we can't compete with each other. We can't let the banks collapse. And tomorrow, he didn't even know when the stock exchange opened. JP Morgan looked down on equity. So as we drive around here, I'm going to go on about a whole bunch of shit. He was so the stock market to JP Morgan was like a Las Vegas. He didn't even know when it opened. So the next morning when it opened, they all put bids in and started the stock market back up. Remember when Obama came out and said, I'll bet if you talk to Warren Buffett today, this was in the S&P, was at 666, because the Illuminati have a sense of humor, or somebody has a sense of humor. And it started the thing back up. But then as it rolled out through the press, people had a sense that there's like a real trust, an oligarchy, like much of we think of the tech bros, which was true. The thing was, it was their own money. Today, so the Federal Reserve was created with this idea, the government can't control interest rates because it's political, right? And we don't want just 12 industrialists in JP Morgan's library deciding what to do with their own fucking problem. So let's create the Federal Reserve. So we have a new guy and the whole basis of this is the market doesn't really understand what it's doing. This is like the Dark Ages. There were like kings in Europe. They were like, well, I think that I should decide like when people lose their virginity. So that's a seigneurage. You can go look that up. It's gross. It's like the Epstein thing. So we created this really the government and a banking cartel merged. So in 1907, you had these guys with their own, like they could have bought stock the next morning and the thing could have failed. Follow me? So we created this thing where the bankers, it's the famous quote by Thomas Jefferson. It's not really a direct quote, blah, blah, blah. It's if the bankers ever get the ability to create money first through inflation, then deflation. I've said it so many times on here. I don't know what So we created this mutant thing. The founding fathers would have been out of their fucking mind. Out of their fucking minds to know that the Federal Reserve was created. Okay, Stanley Kubrick has fun with this and The Shining, blah, blah, blah. And today we have a fucking hedge fund guy, not even a banker. Like, there's not even any capital. There's not even any real shit on the other side of their transactions. They're just speculators. Like in Las Vegas, betting on the fucking baseball game is taking over the Federal Reserve, and the inflation rate's 3.8%. Go fuck yourself. The short-term rates are going to 0.8%. So as we drive around here and sort of make fun of this, and, it's everybody makes a mistake once in a while. I've certainly made mine. The Federal Reserve is sort of being dissolved, in my own opinion. I think the Fed is being turned over to these clowns, speculators like Secretary of Treasury. I mean, just go look at his body language. Like, if Scott Bessent was on the list to like take over your college alma mater, I think you wouldn't vote for him just because he's a fucking creep. Well, Warsh is just like everything you've ever been taught about finance and maintaining the monetary unit, all that. Just throw that out the fucking window because we're going to do whatever we want. Okay. So let's all calm down. Do we need a musical interlude? Come on, take the money and run. This is exactly what you need. That's fun, isn't it?
Legendary hits. Legendary station.
Okay, so here we go. So, like, I don't think I'm going to go inside. I'm just going to drive around because I think I get the job done better doing that. So there's JCPenney. Nobody goes there anymore. You can see this is like a classic 80s style mall. That's an Anchor. This was a Sears. The roads are shit. That's a cinema. Like when we were kids, we used to like go meet girls here, right? Like, hey, I'll see you at the mall, So this was a Sears. It's, somehow keeping its act together. This is a Dick's. Dick's is based in Pittsburgh. You'll see as we go into this road's just terrible. This is all owned by, you can hear this old Subaru banging in and out of these potholes. There's a Dick's. Dick's is a very profitable company, but clearly didn't make a go of it here. You're going to see that on the other side, there's lots of traffic here, even though it's sort of in the middle of nowhere. But the indoor mall thing is 90% dead. You can see there's no cars. But look at the size of this thing. Now, when I look at this, I mean, I could go to the San Diego Corporate Center, and it has like 30% occupation. It's in San Diego, which is the most beautiful place in the world. But you're like, what the fuck is going to happen? I'm going to tell you right now, Linda. Let me tell you something right now, Linda. This is what you're going to do in 5 years to all these data centers. And it's the same problem. What do you mean it's the same problem? It's energy. It's not just money. It's not just the collapse of 212 million, 7 million. It's the energy. What do you mean the energy? Well, look at this. How much energy did it take to make all that blacktop to build these buildings? And the reason we all went to these in the 80s is because you could go in there in the middle of winter and walk around with your girlfriend and buy an Orange Julius and buy her a pair of Jordache jeans and go to the movie theater. I remember met a girl in like the Monroeville Mall, and like we made out like over in the pine trees over here. Look at these. Look at these. And look at there's this. If you came in here, look at this son of a bitch right here. Look at this. I mean, you could take out look at that son of a bitch. You got the Volvo with the 21-inch rims? Yeah, they ain't making it out of here. So this is owned by Nam Darn or something. I think he's a Persian Jewish vulture real estate guy. I think he's in northern New Jersey. So I'm the guy that's doing all this like alternative finance. So like when I drive around this, my brain goes like, what would you even do here? Like what will this turn into? Holy shit, look at that thing. And it's like a video game driving on the blacktop. Um, of course, my brain looks at it and I go, "Oh, this would be could have 100,000 sheep in there." You know, that's. But who knows? Like, can it be turned into apartments? Can it be? I don't know. Um, these potholes are so big they could be filled with water, and you could raise goldfish. We still alive? Yeah, we're good. Now, so we're going to go into the other side of it, and amazingly enough, amazingly enough, um, Starbucks, the Eaton Park, which is a Pittsburgh diner kind of a thing, is doing pretty well. Now, these pieces were, I think, part of the original project, the original scope. It's about a 250-acre thing. There's a nice Spring Grove Hill Road or whatever it's called, the hotel. Some really good, look at these potholes. Look at these potholes. But all this shit's doing fine. So it wasn't complete madness to build this place. There's traffic. And there's nothing up here. Nobody lives up here. So they're running 20 minutes north out of Pittsburgh to get up here. There's a Chili's over there, there's a Starbucks. I mean, there's actually traffic. But it went from 212 to 7. So the data centers that are going to be built are 20 and 50 times bigger than this. And they're not just big open spaces filled with polyester pants and shit. They're NVIDIA chips running wide open with backup energy coming from natural gas fired jet engines running on, spinning generators. So this is nothing compared to what This is nothing compared to what the data centers are. You follow me? Like, imagine all these buildings just filled with servers running wide open. Just black, just fucking heat and energy, just black. Like the Applebee's is just all server. There's not even like chicken sandwiches. It's just wide open servers blasting data shit around. Here's the Walmart thing. They built a Walmart and a Sam's Club beside each other, which, look at it, but it's fairly well occupied. It's interesting. I love shit like this. Like, why does something fail? Why does something succeed? Like, why is this? Why is Sam's Club efficient? Why is Costco efficient? Why is Aldi efficient? Aldi's like way smaller than this. I mean, look at all these fucking, like, I hate Walmart. If I had cancer and the only way to be cured was to go into a Walmart once a week, it probably wouldn't work out very good. There's the cart guy. Of course, at Aldi, you have to do your own carts. You still alive? Yeah, we're good. It's a pickup truck. It gets 11 miles to the gallon. I mean, this is America. Musical interlude. So when this song was popular is when we all went to the mall, right? We all had that like 80s hair and like some workers. So before I did this, I looked it up. Minimum wage in 1950 was like $1 and gas was like 30 cents. You could buy about 3 gallons. And then you go to 1960, you go to 1980, it's about the same thing. So the whole justification for the Federal Reserve is that, the Federal Reserve's data dependent and they're like, super into everything. They understand everything better than we do. And they're to make sure the monetary unit doesn't lose its value, right? So gold on 9/11 was $250 an ounce, and now it's 5,000. And now this guy is being just, he's just like, there's like Trump with the 13-year-olds. They don't even hide it. They're just like, we're going to do whatever we want to keep financial assets high. That's why I did that piece on Michael Hudson, because he's nobody even nobody even knows what he's talking about. It's this Mark Faber thing where like people talk about inflation just in terms of consumer prices. Like, I can go to Lone Star and have a small steak and a glass of red wine and a salad and a sweet potato, and like, how much is that? But the people who really understand it will explain. It's a nice big Aldi's. There's a Michael's. I have no idea why that exists. There's a Dollar Tree. I don't know what that is either. Um, there's an In-N-Out burger. I've never been in a Ross. There's a wine store. I know what that is. But it was an Aspen Dental. That was created by a private equity firm. I lost my train of thought, but I'll keep going. So we're going to go now to the Apple Store. Um, Hopefully, we'll get like a little demo of how powerful these chips are in these Apple products. This M5 chip, and for the last couple of years, everybody's been saying, where's Apple's AI strategy? Well, where's Google's AI strategy? And in the end, they've both completely they're going to completely dominate the consumer AI space because Apple has the hardware. Apple makes the ecosystem that you don't really want to leave, including me. Like I've never had a blue screen on an Apple product ever. When I ran my little registered investment advisory company, I had to do all the trading with Schwab on a PC. We spend like an hour a week dicking around with viruses on PCs. So we're going to run down into the city. And then we're going to go to Whole Foods. So there's a part two to this. So this is 80s style malls, Apple AI products, and rye bread. Okay, we'll see you with the part two.